Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Satanic Panic Podcast, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything that makes its way out of production hell. My name is Zombie Sleeping. I am a horror VTuber and failed final girl, and I am joined by...
Neon Maddie. I am a Neon Devil VTuber.
And today we are going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a proto-slashers in 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper, about a group of friends that fall victim to a family of cannibals in the countryside of Texas. This is my favorite movie.
I was really excited for this episode because I know you really like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to like kind of listen to you yap a lot. I'm gonna sit here politely with my hands in my lap while you like tell me everything. I watched this movie for the first time today. This is my first time I've ever seen it. So it's interesting like seeing the tropes, but I'm interested to see or hear what you have to say.
I'm so excited. This is one of those movies where it's like I don't have a reason to talk about it a lot of the time. So
Fair.
I have like so much pent up energy because I think that this movie is such a work of art.
It was very cool. Like there was a lot of like cinematography things in this movie that I really liked a lot. But I will mention, I don't know if this is going to be like a point of contention.
Mm-hmm.
You forewarned me when we were picking like the topic of this week's episode, when we were picking
Mm-hmm.
this movie. You were like, I want you to like choose it of your own volition. I'm using a lot of big words today. I had coffee earlier. You're like, I want you to choose this movie because it can be a little bit intense. And like, I guess I was like kind of expecting a little bit more, but maybe it's because I watched the Don't Pelt Me with Rocks. I watched like the Ed Gein like Netflix series, so I feel like I've seen a lot of these things already, so I wasn't like taken that aback by them, but they are intense, I'm not going to lie. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess like the shock value, I've seen it with the documentary, so I wasn't as like, "Oh my god," as I thought I was going to be.
That's fair. I think that
Mhm.
especially like when you consume a lot of horror or you consume a lot of media that like tackles these types of topics, it can desensitize you to it a bit. I give that
Yeah,
warning to everybody that I recommend this movie
fair.
to
Mhm.
because
A blanket warning.
yeah, if you're not a horror person, this isn't the one you start with.
True. This is kind of like you have like elementary statistics. This is like level 2 or like middle school math compared to like our elementary school math. A
Yeah.
level up.
This isn't like baby's first horror movie or anything like that. I was very intimidated by this movie for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have an appreciation for this until later in
Hmm.
life.
Like did you like what about it the intimidate was it intimidating you said or
I well, I've talked about this a couple of times. For a long time, I didn't really even like horror. I wasn't a horror
hmm,
person at all, and I was particularly afraid of Leatherface.
I get that.
And I think once I actually watched the movie because I had never seen it like when I
Mhm.
was so afraid of it, but then I actually sat down and watched it, and I was like, I think that's what kind of like turned the gears in my head to start appreciating horror more was this movie because I
Mhm.
enjoyed it so much on the first time I watched it because there's a lot
Yeah.
more to the characters in it than I'd initially thought there would be.
I will say, like, I now watching this movie, I really get the final girl trope. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I feel like this movie was like the grandfather for like a bunch of other like horror movie tropes to come. So it kind of makes sense that like this is like the turning point for you.
Oh boy, do I have things to say about that?
You like stack your like MLA format essay, you like rustle it in your hands.
Oh boy. So, um, I think we should. This is not a good tangent for me to get into like right off. I don't think so. I think we
No,
should
dude, get
just
into
start.
it. No, dude, get into it. It's our podcast. We can do what we want.
So, in 1974, this movie came out in October. In
Appropriate.
December, Black Christmas also came out, which is also a proto slasher. And from my
Oh,
understanding, proto slasher just kind of refers to films that set up the tropes that slashers would follow in the big 80s slasher boom, like 80s 90s slasher boom.
makes sense because it's proto slasher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people attribute Black Christmas to being the first slasher, even though this
Oh
movie
shit.
came out a month before.
I didn't realize I was walking into like a movie war, man. I'm so sorry. I'm on sacred ground. My bad.
And I'm like, okay, this came out a month before, and by the way, who the fuck knows what Black Christmas is if you aren't already into horror?
I've never heard of that movie. I have heard of Texas Chainsaw Massacre before I've watched it. So I kind of feel like one has more of a cultural footprint than the other. Sorry, everybody who's on
Yeah,
Team Black Christmas.
I agree. I look into the camera.
Oh, she's looking at you. Yeah, you in the blue shirt.
So, that's like that's like a whole thing. So it's like, yeah, everybody
Yeah,
knows who
girl.
Leatherface is. I don't know anybody who knows who fucking Billy is.
Who's that? Who's that guy?
He's the killer in Black Christmas.
Oh, Billy Christmas?
Billy Christmas. So yeah, I shuffle my papers.
No, I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm here for it.
I'm gonna get super intense about this, and that's just how it's going to have to be.
I get it. Like there was like a lot of cool things in this movie that when I was watching it, I'm like, oh, I can see why Zombie really, really likes this. I really like there's this really cool heaviness throughout the movie, which like right up the jump, like when there's like all of the radio, like the grim stories like coming over the radio while they're like
Mm-hmm.
going in like their teal minivan throughout like the countryside. And it's like, this man flayed another man to death and it was crazy. And I'm like, oh my God. This is
Mm-hmm.
wow. It like sets the tone right off the bat, which I think is very cool. Um, and I really liked I don't know if it's because of like how old the film is or what it is, but I really like the yellow like tint over the film.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like makes it feel very hot and stifling. It kind of like adds to the atmosphere, and I think it just looks cool.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I feel like that's a pretty common movie thing. Is to just if it's a hot place, make it yellow.
Yeah, like the Mexico filter.
Yeah, it is a little bit of the Mexico filter.
But it works in this movie. I think it's cool.
No Western.
Exactly.
But yeah, it opens up. So the movie opens up it takes place in 1973, and it
Hmm.
opens up on, like you'd said, the radio and the news stories about all these terrible things that are happening, and particularly
Hmm.
about a grave robbing epidemic that's happening in this like little town in Texas, where
Hmm.
someone is going in, digging up corpses, and just like stringing them up, essentially. And it opens up
Crazy.
on like the flash bulb of the camera and that
So
sound.
cool. I really like that in like I will say that the one part of the movie or one of the many things that kind of like grossed me out was like the close up of like the crumbly hands. I was kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
Don't like that. Very cool though.
No, it was super super cool. I love the I'm a big sucker every time a movie does this, is where like the complete darkness and then the light bulb flash to illuminate the scene. I love
Yeah,
that shit. I
it's
think that's so
cool.
cool.
It adds to the atmosphere, I believe.
Mhm. But one of the things with the cinematography for this movie is that it is kind of supposed to be, because this is taking place in the 70s. It is supposed to
Hmm.
be emulating war footage, and it's supposed to be emulating um I guess like being a consumer of news during that time during the Vietnam War and everything.
Oh, cool.
So a lot of like it's supposed to have a very like documentary style of like cinematography of like shooting, which I think like they accomplish really well. There are a couple of scenes that I think lend itself to that.
Hmm. I agree. Like I feel like the opening like two where they're where there's like that big like text blurb kind of explaining the situation, kind of like also lends itself to that documentary style before, or like you had
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. I didn't really pick I didn't really pick up on that when I was watching it, but now that you say it, it does make sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Just to like give everybody some background for like how into this movie I am. I've watched this movie I think like multiple times a year. I've seen a
Oh,
lot of documentaries about it, and I've also taken the time to read the original script.
that's so cool. You were locked in.
Like this movie is like my thing. Like this is my hill.
This is the one you're dying on?
So this is just going to be me nerding out.
No, I'm okay. That's awesome. I like hearing people nerd out. That's the whole point of the podcast.
Yeah. But movie opens up, gives you that little bit of background, and
Mhm.
the group of kids that we were following, these five teenagers, they're going to check on Sally, who does end up kind of being our focal point for the story. They're checking on Sally and Franklin's grandfather because he was buried in one of the cemeteries that was affected, so they want to make sure that he wasn't exhumed.
Mm.
So they're making that trip out to that little town in Texas to just kind of check on Grandpa.
I feel like everyone gave Franklin so much shit, and I feel so bad for him.
I feel pretty bad for Franklin. Franklin was also pretty annoying.
Yeah, but like now knowing like the context that like he's like the little brother, I don't know why I didn't pick up on that when I watched it at first. Um, I feel like he's kind of like whiny little brother a little bit, so I feel like that makes sense. But like, man, there's so many times that I'm like, come on,
He is kind of
just
getting the short stick here because like
yeah,
they're just kind of like leaving him like hanging, just kind of like walking around in these like this broken down house that he can't navigate
right,
because he's in a wheelchair. He goes like tumbling down that hill at the beginning of the movie.
right. And I feel like he has those both times valid point like reasons to crash out. Like if
Yeah.
I tumble down a hill while I'm trying to pee and I fall out of my wheelchair, I'd be pissed too. That would suck.
Yeah, he's just not having a very good day. This is not a very good evening for Franklin.
I find Kirk kind of annoying.
Yeah, you don't like Kirk.
I don't really like him. He just kind of like seems a little dude bro-ish, which is kind of funny. Like at the time setting. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Kirk and Jerry are kind of I feel like they're similar enough that they're a little bit interchangeable.
Yeah. I don't know why I found myself liking Jerry a little bit more than Kirk. I don't know, but they are very similar though, so I don't know if I'm just there's something about his hair that really annoyed me. Just made me predisposed to not like him.
He's a very almost like Fred. He's got like Fred
Yes.
vibes, I think.
Mhm.
Fred Jones.
Come on, gang.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very that. But these guys are they're going to go check on Grandpa, and they go to the cemetery scene is one of my favorite scenes in the movie,
Mhm.
where they're kind of like just stopping, taking a look at everything, and like again, like Franklin kind of gets left behind a little bit, but he just ends up like making eyes with that drunk guy,
Yeah.
that kind of first foreboding like omen in the movie, that like just kind of like weird giggly guy that was just hanging out upside down.
He's like, "Yeah, this place is crazy."
He's like, I've seen
Like,
things.
oh.
And I feel like he's a little bit of like a progenitor for like the crazy old man trope in these types of slashers.
Like the crazy guy who actually ends up being right, but no one listens to him.
Yeah,
That
because
kinda thing.
why would you?
Right.
Why would you stop and like give this guy the time, like he doesn't know you, you don't know him. I
He could
can't
be
say that I would
lying.
be much better.
Yeah, I don't know if I would just be this man like twisted out of his mind laying on his back in the middle of a field. I don't know if I would really trust him that much either.
I'd be like, okay,
Not
man.
gonna lie. All right, sure, dude. Whatever you say. Anyway, look at a load of that guy.
Yeah, like you're like get into the van, they're just like, so what the fuck was up with that?
They had like their debrief immediately.
What I can say pretty reasonably though that I wouldn't do is pick up a hitchhiker.
Oh my I really liked how when they pulled up next to him and they're like, "Oh, he looks weird." I'm like, "Then keep driving."
Then don't pick him up.
Right. Don't slow down. I feel like too when he starts like you guys like meat and the head cheese. I feel like, all right, get out the car, man.
Get out of my car.
This is too weird for me. Hey man, I'm sorry. We got to part ways.
He smells crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know he smells crazy.
He looks like he smells crazy. He had like that weird like pelt thing around his neck.
Yeah, I think it was like a cow jaw.
Oh, is that what that
I
was?
think it is. I think it's a cow jaw.
Oh. Man,
His little,
he's stinky.
but
That dude.
he's an
stinks.
entrepreneur. He's trying, like, he's got a side hustle.
Yeah,
His
that's
little
true.
camera.
And he's an artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like things were fine until that the hitchhiker saw Franklin's knife, and then things kind of like just became like a little more and more progressively weird. I wonder if
Yeah.
he didn't see the knife, if that wouldn't have spiraled anything. What do you think? Or do you think it was inevitable?
Mm, I think it was kind of inevitable that things would just kind of go sideways because he takes their picture and he's like $5, please, and they're like, no, and he lights it on fire.
He's like, you know what then? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna light it. Whoa! Can you imagine going like to Disney World and they're like, they take your picture in front of Magic Castle and they're like, all right, pay up. And when you decline, they just light it on fire.
Disney does do that.
Oh, Walt, you crazy?
If you don't buy the Mickey Mouse cup, they shoot you in the back.
Exactly. They come after you with a chainsaw in the middle of Main Street.
Yeah.
That's why they make it smell like cookies out there. It's because
They're covering up something very dark.
exactly.
You didn't want the popcorn bucket?
The guy runs out with like a skinned Mickey Mouse mascot hat.
Oh,
Like
scary as fuck. I don't like that. I'm also gonna have to catch myself a little bit because I'm gonna want to refer to the family with their names, and they don't technically have names in this movie. They're just like the hitchhiker and grandpa and the cook, but like they get names in the second movie, so I'm gonna have to like catch myself
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
because I'm gonna drop
I didn't think
Nubbins,
they
and you're
had
gonna be like,
names.
"Who the fuck is Nubbins?"
I didn't do enough research. I'm behind, man. I gotta get into this.
I don't
It's
think
level
it's
3.
I don't think it's a you didn't do enough research thing. I think it's just that I'm a freak.
You have an interest? How dare you?
Yeah. But no, he sets that shit on fire. He was like, no money, no product. And you know what? Kind of based.
Yeah, I can respect that a little bit. However, grabbing the knife and slashing Franklin, all right, man.
You gotta chill out. You gotta chill out.
Exactly.
Everyone started freaking out, and he was like, let me throw gasoline on this fire. Tetanus.
Let me just make this situation worse. And then you know what the thing that kind of like upset me was, man, Franklin just gets like slashed in the back seat, and everyone's just kind of like, oh, come on, Franklin. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like a psycho just fucking cut me. I want to go home.
Yeah, you're gonna put toilet paper on it and then be like, whatever. Hello?
I want to leave, bro.
It's time to turn. We gotta double back. This trip is over. We gotta go to the hospital.
He's like, he's got something crazy. You know, the hitchhiker has something crazy.
Yeah, he looks dirty as hell.
Spray that boy down with
Dude
a hose.
has every disease.
Every disease.
He has every disease ever.
Call the fire department. We gotta spray him down.
Exactly. I was also like wondering what that was like on his face. I don't know if it's like a birthmark or
I think it's a birthmark.
if he was bleeding.
It's a birthmark, I'm pretty sure.
Makes sense.
Um, Edwin Neal, he's the guy who plays the hitchhiker. He actually based a lot of his mannerisms on a nephew. Like just
Oh.
like the way that he kind of like holds himself and talks and everything. And I thought that was kind of a little neat, little tidbit to know. I think it's like a nephew, like it's like a nephew or like a little cousin or something like that. Like he bases the hitchhiker's mannerisms on a family member.
I wonder if like you're watching that and you're like
And you're
you're
kind
the
of like
cousin
mad.
or the nephew. Yeah, you're like, hey, I didn't think I was like that creepy. Like, what the hell?
What the fuck?
You're mischaracterizing me. What the hell?
Why would you do that? The after Franklin gets cut by the man with every disease on the planet, they're like, "Oh, we're out of gas, by the way, so we gotta like pull into this little gas station right here." And I
do
don't
like the sign with worms on the door. Made me laugh.
Oh, like the
Worms.
fishing bait sign. Worms.
Yeah, it just said worms. It made me laugh.
Ain't a damn place to fish anywhere within 100 miles.
Yeah, like you guys are scamming for worms.
Dry ass desert. But this is like another point where the gang is kind of like given this opportunity to turn back. Like this is another omen where like the owner of the gas station, the proprietor of the gas station is like, hey, like maybe you shouldn't go on abandoned property in Texas.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a great idea, kids. And they're like, oh, it's fine. Our parents own the estate because now that they've checked on Grandpa, they're going to Sally and Franklin's childhood home.
Yeah. That is a good point though, because he's like, hey, and also they don't have gas. Like at that station too. So I feel like that's also a good enough reason to be like, you know what, guys, let's turn around and cut our losses.
Yeah.
You know?
Like maybe like trudging around in an abandoned house in the Texas heat isn't worth it.
Yeah, especially though, like when you're like about to run like E on empty, like how are you gonna get back home? Crazy kids.
That's just what you do when you live in a small town. You just trespass on abandoned property.
Yeah, that and sit in Walmart parking lots.
Sit in Walmart parking lots. Sit in the Denny's parking lot.
Exactly.
A Sonic, if you have one.
Oh, luxury.
And that's the thing to do when you live in a tiny town.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's either you sit in a parking lot and loiter or you break and enter and you do crime.
Mm-hmm. I remember I used to, in another life, live in Kansas. And I remember when I would stay at my friend's house, we would like walk from her house across the train tracks and go to CVS and grab Starbucks, like the jarred frappuccinos. And we thought we were the coolest people on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And like walk back home with our like little frappuccino jars. And that's the thing to do.
The thing to do for me growing up was there was I had a friend that had this like kind of, she lived like just out of the way. And we would walk from her house to this little cemetery that was nearby and then on train tracks. And that was what we did.
Dude, at train tracks shakes your hand. You get it.
And we would pray to God that they were actually were abandoned.
That's really funny. Guys?
Why is the ground shaking?
I'm scared.
That is like an interesting bit about this movie, I think, is the fact that like for a good portion of the movie, they aren't doing anything wrong, and they're like they are on their own property when they do go to the abandoned house. Like they're pretty, like they're fine pretty much until they trespass, until they actually go onto someone else's property.
I had that thought too. I'm like, man, I wonder how much things would have changed if they just like didn't go into like a stranger's house. Like, could they have all just like came out unscathed if they just didn't break and enter?
I mean, it's like it's a little. I feel like it's kind of implied to that effect a little bit. Because, like,
dumbass Kirk.
Dumbass Kirk. No, they're going around, they're checking out the old Hardesty family home. Sally and Kirk are giving the grand tour of this broke down, abandoned house.
Dilapidated house. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at the zebra wallpaper. Meanwhile, Franklin is downstairs crashing out.
Kind of, yeah, again, like, kind of rightfully so. This really
Yeah.
sucks for Franklin. This is not a fun trip.
Right? He's like, this is the worst day ever. And I'm like, you know what, man?
Like, it might be.
He's like, got cut with a knife by the man with every disease ever. And he hears everyone like upstairs laughing. And he's downstairs, can't even like move.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shit in the way.
Yeah, there was like one part where it was like totally like a little brother moment where he's like trying to like go through like a door frame, and he like kind of like bumps into the way and he goes like, ow, that hurt. I'm like, oh buddy, it's gonna be okay.
The actor for Franklin, in interviews and stuff, he apparently was like pretty method when it came to playing Franklin. Like, what was it? He had said that like he was afraid if he stopped being Franklin, he couldn't get it back.
Oh shit.
Because Franklin was like, he just had to be so annoying and just kind of like so whiny that he was afraid he wouldn't be able to do it again.
That's so funny.
So he just was Franklin the entire time, and apparently everybody hated it.
He just like assumed the position of becoming little brother. That's so funny.
Yeah, just everybody was super annoyed by it.
Imagine having to like be little brother, but like for a paid gig. That's so funny.
It's not, I mean, not a bad gig, I guess.
Oh, that hurt.
Fucking sucks. It's
hot.
Everyone's
having fun without me. It's hot.
Someone made these like fucking weird sculptures and wind chimes, the human teeth.
Yeah, the weird like hand of bone, like dangling like baby. What is it called? Baby mobile, like above the door.
I feel like again that would be like another moment where I'm like, well, someone put that there,
right? Because it wasn't there when they got there. At least he didn't. Oh, I don't know if he like walked through the front door, but then they would have saw it and they would have stepped over like the weird little. I don't even know what animal or what thing that was. Like,
the weird
on
little
the
shrine
pillow.
thing.
Yeah, like they would have had to like either like feel it, hear it crunch, or they would have seen it when they were walking in that way. So it had to have been put there after, I would think.
I think it was a different door.
Okay.
But still, like, that's still a thing where I'm like, well, someone had to have hung that. Which means that people go in my house. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I don't live here anymore.
I don't remember Peepaw putting up, like, the hand bone glockenspiel up on the front, or the wind chime up on the front door.
One of the really interesting things about when I was reading the script is that Sally and Franklin in the script are a little weirder, in my opinion. Like, they're a little bit more... They're more morbid, I think. They have, like... Because when Franklin gets cut, he kind of, like, fixates on the knife a little bit, and he's kind of, like, spiraling about it. In the script, it's kind of both of them, like, just kind of being kind of weird about the knife. And you get a little bit more of Sally and Franklin's, like, their family history in the script. It's like their grandpa's house. I think they mentioned that there was like an uncle or a cousin or something that was kind of weird that they didn't talk to much anymore. Sally and Franklin's parents really aren't like doing the best. I think it's implied that the people who lived here are Sally's, like, on Sally and Franklin's mother's side of the family. And they mentioned that their mother has, like, a drinking problem, that she's not really present a lot of the time. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff in the script that kind of tied Sally and Franklin to the weirdness in the town a little bit more that I
Mhm.
thought was really interesting.
That sounds really cool. I did notice that, like, when, like, after Franklin gets cut and he is, like, really fixated on the knife and he's like, "Oh, do you think that's, like, the hitchhiker's blood here?" And I'm like, "Hmm. Hmm. Why are you so interested in that? Why are you so?" Because he was also like, "Oh, did you see how he just, like, totally cut into his hand like that? Wasn't that crazy?" Why are you so stuck on that?
Yeah. I almost view, and I've written like a little bit of like a paper for myself on like this theory of like just kind of jotting down my notes and everything for it.
Mhm.
I almost view this movie as a little bit of like a grotesque homecoming for Sally and Franklin,
Yeah?
because it's like logically the way I think about it is like there's no way that if their family lived there for so long they have no idea who the cannibal family is, even if the cannibal
That's
family
true.
weren't that bad when they knew them, like they like things hadn't spiraled out of control for them. So I feel like this
Mhm.
is almost like a weird like universe kind of, because one
Like,
of the big
gravitational pull?
yeah, a little bit, because that's one of the things that like Pam keeps talking about too, is like
Mhm.
Pam,
Oh, the Zodiac, yeah.
yeah, Pam is like a really big zodiac person, and she keeps talking about like bad omens and stuff that are in the air, which also, by the way, another indicator that maybe you should fucking leave.
Yeah, Mercury's in retrograde, so that means everything bad is gonna happen ever during this trip. This magazine is, like, telling the truth. We gotta go. It's time to leave.
I guess that's a fair point. You gotta start listening to your crystal girlies.
Exactly.
You have to. They're right.
They are. I really think that there is some truth in that.
Because she was talking about like how like like horrible things are gonna be happening, and it's gonna be so outlandish that you're not gonna believe it's true. And it's like, hey,
Big, like, what? Big red flag number 3, 4? How
yeah.
many are we at this point?
But yeah, I feel like this is a little bit of a, like I said, like a kind of like a weird homecoming for Sally and Franklin to be brought back into like the bizarre and kind of like weird out of touch hometown
Yeah.
that they had left.
I didn't really consider that, like, if that's, like, their old family home, then kind of makes sense that, like, they would have to have been around it, like, as they, like, grew up, so kind of makes
Hmm.
sense. Hmm.
While they're like exploring the old family home and everything, at some point, um, Kirk and Pam leave, and they're like, "We're gonna go swimming," and it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, we'll be back in an hour. Yeah, okay, you're gonna go fuck. Alright, we get it.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Like, Franklin's just like, "Yeah, sure, you'll be back in an hour, whatever."
Yeah, Franklin's just like, Franklin is so tired of this. Franklin hates this tiny polycule that he has to babysit.
Everyone gets to go have fun without me. Okay, whatever.
But it's at this point that Kirk and Pam discover the family home of the others.
Yeah.
And this is such a cool scene. I think like it does a lot of work and a lot of like a really tight time frame, because you see all the
Mhm.
rundown cars and like the gas generators, and you see that like all the netting that's like covering up, like it's just you get a lot of information really quickly here, I think.
That is true. 'Cause, like, that and, like, when you first, like, peep into the house, there's, not much color except for, like, the blood red, like, in, like, the back hallway with, like, all the animal skulls in the back. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like a flashing sign of, like, danger, which, again, don't know why you would walk in towards that, but, like, hey, whatever.
I think this is one of those things where I'm like, I think the movie relies a lot on the idea that these are warning signs to people who have not grown up in these types of environments as well.
Mm.
But I grew up like I spent a little bit of my childhood in the deep south,
Mhm.
and like I to their credit, I haven't seen anything that I don't think would have deterred me at that age.
That's fair.
Because I'm like, okay, there's like a big lot of cars that are all run down. Some people just had those out in the sticks.
Yeah, that is true. Like that didn't alarm me as much. But the wall of animal skulls, I was kind of like, I don't know. But I kind of see like where that would be like a reality for like some houses. But
Yeah.
like I don't think it's like that outside of the realm of possibility, but it also kind of made me like a little skeptical.
I think it's one of those things where it gets more concerning the further into the house that you get, which I think
Yeah.
is a kind of a cool like a cool metaphor for like surface like perception of
Yeah.
yeah versus like
Like
interior.
the public presenting like in the right or in the front doorway versus like the actual living space or the internal.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there like there's a word for that where it's like a Latin word. I can't think of it. I was gonna sound really smart, but it totally escapes me.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I can't help you.
It's okay.
Kirk and Pam are hanging out outside. Kirk again, like this is another thing where it's just like fucking weird thing for him to do. He like hands her a tooth. Do you remember that?
Yeah, like I think he was just trying to be like, ha ha ha. But man, why aren't you?
That tooth has a
I get that
filling.
you're trying to jump scare your girl, but like, can you not? I don't know, not be concerned at seeing the big tooth.
Like I don't know. I guess that like to me that would like immediately put alarm bells in my head because it has a filling. You don't put fillings on animals,
That yeah,
so that has to be
that
human.
mm-hmm. It didn't look. I feel like you can kind of just tell vaguely the shape of it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. I feel like you can kind of like vaguely tell the shape of like a human teeth or a human tooth versus an animal. So I feel like from the jump, I feel like you could have looked at that and been like, there's something suspect about this. But then again, I'm like watching this as like the viewer of the horror movie and not like the person in the movie. So it could have been because you're not expecting that when you're the person living it versus when you're the watcher and you're expecting the big bad. You know what I mean?
I guess so, but like I don't know. I don't think I would have wanted to stick. People don't leave human teeth just around. I don't think that's a thing that you just find. So I feel like even as the
Yeah,
person in the situation, you would be
true.
like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like yeah.
And it's not. It's also like I don't feel like it implies itself to like there have been an accident recently either, because it was a like bone dry tooth. It wasn't like someone just lost it.
Yeah. Yeah, like and there wasn't like blood or anything, but I don't
Mm-mm.
know if like the blood would have made it worse.
I feel like if there were blood, I would be less scared that something. I would still be scared that something was wrong, but I'd be worried that someone was actively hurt and needed help now,
True.
as opposed to being like, well, why is this just here?
Yeah. At least like the blood would have added more context. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
but I have. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, because there are a lot of
Hmm.
really cool scenes and a lot of really cool kills in this movie.
Hmm.
But when Kirk goes through the house and like there's all the animal skulls and stuff on the wall, and he goes back towards like the back of this house because they're trying to see if someone will give them gas from the generators that are outside. He
Yeah.
wants to like make some sort of trade or like pay them for the gas and the generators.
Hmm.
The door like swings open and it all happens so quickly. I think the Kirk kill is my favorite kill in the movie.
Yeah.
I think so.
I get what you mean though, because I really like how quickly also how big like Leatherface looked. He looks like
Hmm.
so huge and intimidating, and how he like quickly just like hoists Kirk over his shoulder and then just like slams the door, like drags him in. It's yeah, it does happen like so quick. It's really like dynamic and cool.
I
And
feel
that the
like
quick slam of that like silver door, it's
Mhm.
so it's like blink and you miss it.
I feel like it's, and this is like praise that I've given the movie forever. I feel like all of the kills in it happen so fast
Hmm.
that there's like a sense of realism to it. There's no suspense to what happens to Kirk. The door just swings open and he hits him like instinctively.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like sat there like forced to come to terms with it, and then like Kirk like starts shaking on the ground, and I think that's the point where it kind of settles in, just like, oh shit, he hit him.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool too, because I feel like that's real, because I feel like when there's head injuries that can happen where like you don't have control over your limbs anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um so like that added to I don't know, that added to like the realism for me. It was really cool.
And it was they hinted at it. They kind of did a little bit of foreshadowing to this in the truck or in the van with the hitchhiker, because one of the conversations they're having with the hitchhiker is one of the big focal points of this movie is the fact that this town is kind of in financial ruin, and it's implied to
Mhm.
have been because of the war. Like during the Vietnam War, we went into a really bad recession,
Mm.
and a lot of people, and this was also happening at a time where a lot of industries like the meat industry was becoming industrialized, which meant a lot of people lost their jobs. And one of the
Mhm.
big kind of like the background tones of the movie is that the cannibal family is one of those families that was affected by pretty much everyone losing their job in the meat market or in the meat factory.
True.
And the hitchhiker during like in the van has this conversation with Franklin, who is very interested in the meat factory. Little weirdo.
So, yeah, why is that your hyperfixation, man? I mean, I get you can't choose it, but
I think it's because like yeah, their grandpa sells cattle to the factory. So they are not one of the families that's affected by this.
Hmm.
But they have a conversation about the new air gun that kills cattle. And
Yeah. Hmm.
the hitchhiker is on the side of the fact that doing it manually with a hammer is better. And then Franklin brings up the fact that they don't die right away that way. And then we have this tie-in with the Kirk kill, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, didn't think about that. That is really cool.
That was a really
Maybe
long-winded
that's why
way to
they
explain that.
no. um, but yeah, you're right. Like, and maybe that's why they shifted, or maybe that's why they like killing people, because it kind of feels that same the scratch, or kind of like scratches the same itch that they got from killing cattle.
Yeah, I think it is one of those things where it's the only thing they know how to do is like the meat industry. And now that that's not an
Mhm.
option, they have to kind of provide for themselves however they can. And this is just what the family settled on was the best way to move forward and to survive through the tough time. It's also kind of implied that the family was like a little bit weird beforehand as well. That grandpa, like there was just kind of something wrong with grandpa.
The whole family is just kind of
They're
a
just
little cooked.
they're just all a little weird.
Something they're just a little strange.
I think that it was one of those situations where they were all kind of on the brink and this was just the last thing that they needed to go over the
Yeah,
edge.
yeah. They were kind of weird from the jump. They have more free time now.
They have more, yeah, indulge in hobbies a little bit more now. like the Hitchhiker's arc. All that to say, the Kirk kill is my favorite kill in the movie. I think it's like it illustrates like the immediate shift in tone really well, because after that point everything is just so different.
I agree. I think trying to think of what happens like after that. I really like the shot of like Pam, like the low angle like going into the house was really cool. I really really liked it.
That's another one of those like Vietnam footage references.
Oh, really?
It was supposed to like mimic the low down shot of soldiers going into the battlefield.
Ah, that makes sense. That's cool. I feel like
Yeah,
I don't really see a lot of angles like that like in more modern movies.
there are a lot of scenes in this one that every single iteration for the rest of the franchise emulates, sometimes not very well. The Pam scene is one of them. Every Texas Chainsaw Massacre has a shot like that.
Hmm. That's really cool. It's like a cool way to like call or like have like a through line for all of them.
They really like that shot. Apparently the actress was not super crazy about that shot.
Really? She looked really good.
I know she did. Apparently she had
That's
like
weird.
she was like, put the camera on my butt.
Yeah, girl. It's cool.
But pretty much not like right after that, that's like Pam also heads in to like look for
Mhm.
Kirk, because Kirk has been in there a while.
Yeah, I don't blame her for also trying to like solve the mystery of like where he went, but I'm also kind of like, no, girl, don't do
Yeah, it's a very like horror movie. Like, don't go down there.
it.
But like, I feel like that is one of the more realistic instances of like what else would you do in that situation?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
It,
Southern hospitality and like just kind of like that like societal conditioning. I feel like the first thing I would think is like he probably got caught up in some conversation with the locals on there.
yeah, like Mima and Peepaw are like chatting him up.
Yeah.
So he's like stuck in there. And she like walks into that room where like there's just like chicken feathers everywhere and the oh that I think it's like a day bed like strung up with like bones. That kind of grossed me out too. I like I was so I don't blame her for freaking out immediately.
There's something like extra cruel about that scene too, because Pam is established to be vegetarian. And I feel like that, like her going into like the
Oh.
chicken room, and I feel like it's just this kind of like slap in the face of like her whole like issue with animal cruelty and the problems that she takes with the meat industry. I feel like that scene is
Mhm.
especially cruel to her.
Dang, I didn't think about that. But yeah, you're right cuz like she had like big complaints about like Franklin talking about the like air gun and stuff with cattle earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And I think for Pam to go through what she does with because Pam is also ultimately the one who gets put on the meat hook,
True.
which is also a very
I
cool
like really
scene.
liked yeah, and I thought it was cool how like they made her like screams or I don't know her if that was just like her natural scream or it's edited. It like kind of sounded like squealing like of a like an animal, which I
Oh
thought was kind of cool.
yeah. One of the things about the soundtrack in this movie is that it's supposed to make you the way I watched this in one of the documentaries is the
Mhm.
soundtrack was supposed to make you feel like you were an animal in a meat plant. Like it's supposed to be remind
Hmm.
you of what an animal would be hearing, like the metal banging and the squealing and stuff.
Hmm. That's really cool. I that makes sense. Like thinking back on it,
Mhm.
that wasn't like a detail that I had picked up on at first. But I just thought it was really cool, like, because as they like fade out from after she's like stuck on the meat hook and also forced to like watch her like boyfriend get cut up, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
really rough.
Um, as they like fade up or like the camera cuts to that shot of the sky, you still hear her screams, but it just sounds like a sounds like a hog. It sounds like something squealing. It's really cool.
Sounds like a hog.
So it kind of makes me wonder. Sounds like a hog. It kind of makes me wonder because I think that's what draws Kirk in at first because he like hears like the animal squealing. I'm like, there couldn't have
Yeah.
been like another kill in there beforehand,
Oh, it's Leatherface. It's Leatherface making the sound.
right? Oh,
That was one of
post-verbal king.
Yeah, that was one of the things is that they needed Gunnar Hansen to like make animal noises and stuff because Leatherface didn't talk.
He's kind of like fucked up Bumblebee from Transformers.
What? Fucked up Bumblebee? I've never seen Transformers.
Bumblebee only can talk through radio sounds. So he's kind of like, never mind. Scratch that. Editors, cut that one from the
Oh, let me check with the editors. Can we cut that? They're shaking their head now. They think it's funny.
Rats! Dang it.
Oh, and then right after this, Jerry goes in to look for them too. So like we just kind of like we like lose 3/5 of the cast like right away.
Yeah, 3 members down right away.
The thing that I feel so I think it's like right after Jerry that Leatherface like has his panic attack in his room where he's just like, where are all these people coming from? Because it's like the scene of him holding his head in his hands and like looking out the windows.
Yeah, like he's like, I don't want them. No, just stay away.
Just leave.
I did kind of feel bad for him in that moment. I don't want to keep doing this.
Why are all these people showing up my house? Where are they coming from? That's how I feel whenever there's company over.
No, you like open up the curtains.
I think Leatherface is a pretty sympathetic villain. Test. I'm like looking up at the crowd, like testing the temperature here.
No, I agree. Like I felt bad for him because I feel like I don't know, he has kind of like a weird innocence, I guess. And so like I don't know. It's kind of funny saying that the guy like wielding the chainsaw running around is innocent, but I kind of feel like I got the feeling he didn't really want to do those things.
I feel like
It could be just projecting onto him.
I feel like he doesn't really understand. And I feel like most of it is less that he takes joy in doing this and more that he's more afraid of the cook. Because Leatherface is easily the biggest and the strongest member of the family. But he's also the most abused.
Yeah. The big lug. Poor guy.
So I feel like it is just kind of like I like conditioning, I guess. It's like someone who doesn't super understand what he's doing and is like more afraid of the violence that will ensue if he doesn't follow orders.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I like Leatherface. I feel bad for him.
Like you do like I don't know, like I said, he feels like innocent. Like when you see like that the scene where like he immediately after killing like runs like towards the door and like has his head in his hands. He's like, like, I feel like he's like a child. I feel bad.
Yeah, I think that you're right. He does have like a sort of kind of innocence about him. He's just trying to do his job. This is his job. And people are making his
he's trying
job
to do what
hard.
he's been told. Yeah, exactly. They made him work today. They're doing it to me at work tomorrow.
But like like by this point, it's getting pretty dark. And Sally and Franklin are just like, where is everybody?
Also, the fact that like what is it? What's that dude's name? The one that I kind of like.
Jerry?
Not Kirk. Jerry, yes. The fact that Jerry just left, like, took the keys and dipped.
Like, I guess, like, it's his van, but still.
Yeah, but they're just sitting out there, like, with the headlights on in the darkness. I don't know. Why would that dude just take the keys? Also, how long have they been sitting out there with the headlights on? They're gonna, like, kill their battery.
Yeah, their battery's fucked. They're not getting out of there, even if he does get back with keys.
Right.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed if that happens, because I'm like, really? That would happen.
That would, and they're trying to make their big getaway, and then, like, the battery croaks.
It's like, fuck!
No! That had to have been, like, a bit in, like, a scary movie. That had to have been.
Like, scary movie 6. Can I confess that I've never seen any of the scary movies?
I think I saw Scary Movie 2, which had like the opening with Pamela Anderson and some other beautiful lady. But it was like a parody of The Ring. And that was like, I had never seen The Ring before I saw that movie. And I remember when like Pamela Anderson is like trying to like shake her friend's shoulder to ask if she's okay, and her head falls off, like the friend's head falls off. That scared the fuck out of me.
Really?
As like an 8-year-old, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah, it would, totally would.
Her head really fell off.
Holy shit, she's dead.
Holy shit, she's dead. But it's supposed to be funny because Pamela Anderson, even after like the girl's head falls off, goes, "Are you okay?" So now older me can appreciate that. However, me 8 years old, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that was the most terrifying thing you'd ever seen.
Right.
That's really funny.
But I really like how Sally's like, you know what? We're gonna go find him, and Franklin's like, But you know what? He's kind of real for that, because at that point, I think it would be best to like bring in reinforcements and regroup. Like,
yeah.
Once again, Franklin is valid.
It's kind of it's like a tough nobody wins situation that they're in, because you can't go anywhere without the keys, but you don't want to go get the keys because why aren't they back with the keys? Something must have gone wrong.
Yeah. So it's like a lose-lose kind of thing.
But it's the 70s. Hotwire it. Never mind.
You know,
sorry, you could still hotwire cars back then. I forgot.
Yeah. My bad. But yeah, that's totally a thing. Why didn't they just do that?
They're gonna be like in the middle of hotwiring it, and like Jerry comes back and he's my fucking car.
Why'd you do that?
My van.
It's fine. It's the 70s. It'll be like $1 to fix it. It's fine.
Oh god, that's true. I miss when you could go to the soda fountain and get the cola float for 2 cents.
Oh, the old-fashioned way.
That place closed down apparently.
It did. Oh,
apparently they closed. Apparently it was like a money laundering thing.
No, the Twitter posts couldn't save it.
Which is super funny because that really is the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Also thought it was really that Coke machine, like the girls were getting like their glass Cokes out of at the beginning. That looks so damn good.
It does.
I want a glass 70s Coke, crisp from the vending machine. That sounds awesome.
Some places still do glass bottles. It's not the same.
Need that.
One of the things that made me go, you know what, Sally's my girl. Sally gets a Dr. Pepper in the script.
You know what? She's real.
She's
real for that.
Based
I
Dr.
like
Pepper drinker.
that's why she lived. She had the power of Dr. Pepper through her veins. That's what gave her power and energy. Now that would be a good commercial.
That's insane.
um um I like the scene of them so Franklin and Sally make the perilous journey to go try to find where the gang is. And it's just such a cluster because they're like going through like the dark forest, and Franklin like he has to like they're trying to like push him in his wheelchair up like the forest, and he's like also trying to like hold on to the flashlight. And I'm like, man, that sounds like such a terrible time.
Just nobody's having a good time in this movie.
Yeah.
He's-
Everything went so wrong in just one day.
yeah, like less than 24 hours.
Everything spiraled out of control.
Just pushing Franklin through the reeds. It's like trying to ride a bike through grass.
Yeah, seriously. Meanwhile, your little brother is whining. It's dark. You can't see.
He's like shining the flashlight. He's like put it right in your eyes like 4 times. And like just fucking hold it straight.
Be pissed. Can you like just do that? And him like saying like push harder would send me over the edge. That would send me over the edge.
I'm walking away. I'm leaving him. I'm like,
Right?
just fucking wait here.
You do it then. I'm out of here.
I'm tired of you. But it's at this point that what's kind of gets referred to as the well, this isn't really a traditional like final girl circuit really, because the final girl circuit kind of refers to the sequence at the end of a slasher movie where the final girl discovers the bodies and then like the big chase between her and the killer happens. And this is kind of a final girl circuit where Leatherface does appear at this point to kill Franklin.
Bye, Franklin.
Bye,
Sorry,
Franklin.
I talked trash on you right before your death. Bye, Franklin.
It happens. And then like the chase between Sally and Leatherface happens where they're like he's just chasing her through the woods.
Her like stamina is like that's crazy.
Crazy.
Also, another marketing idea here. Hey, hire me. I'm available. The final girl circuit, like you mentioned, would be a great thing to do like for like a 5K or a 10K like in like October time.
Oh shit.
That'd be a really cool like name for a race, like a big run.
Yeah, that would be
October.
cool.
Hire
New
me.
York.
I'm available. Dude.
New York, you got the space for this.
Exactly. I mean, I was so impressed. Also, wanted to say her scream is so cool.
Yeah.
She has such a cool scream. I really like how like guttury, like guttural, growly, so cool. And the fact that like she like kept up that scream like throughout the entire time, like because it felt like that last chase felt forever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like she kept that up the entire time. It was awesome.
Things get very
like, howling.
How do I even describe this next sequence? Like the last act of the movie is just miserable, I think.
Yeah.
It's
like you're just rooting for our girl to get away, and it seems like she keeps on getting like ensnared.
It's just full of pain and misery and just scream and like blood and grit, and it's just terrible.
Really cool. It's really cool.
It's very cool. But I shouldn't laugh because this isn't really it's not a funny movie, but I think that there are some kind of like pretty funny bits in it.
Yes.
Her getting like straight like beamed with the branch was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's like unfortunately very funny.
She got clotheslined. That sucks.
She did. You know that like knocked the wind out of her too, but she's got to keep going.
Oh
Like
yeah.
adrenaline's doing a lot of heavy lifting for this girl.
Right? The- So like what? She gets like I think chased into like the house.
The
Um
Was it the house at this point? No, you're right, because yeah, yep. She goes and she tries to talk to grandma and grandpa upstairs.
yes. Which like really like as like she was leaving, she kicked over the taxidermy cat on the ground. That kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, I was like, God, it's a pickup
So as she's
scruffy.
like trying to like scramble to get up, she's like kicks that shit out of the way. Also, love her for just straight up just jumping out the window. That's so
Such a cool scene. Oh my god, I love the window.
and the she does that twice. She does that shit twice. And you know, I like kind of applaud the movie for that because I feel like there'd be if I feel like even more modern horror movies, they would just kind of like let her just stand at the end of the hallway and be like, ah, like, you know, freak out. But no, she's like, there's an exit. I'm going.
Sally is a really good. I think Sally is a really, really good final girl because I feel like this is before because it's like the progenitor, and so the tropes
Mhm.
really hadn't been established. The way they like show her like human animal just will to live is so good.
Yeah. She was fighting the whole time. She never gave up, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like even like in modern, I feel like what people don't understand is like jumping from a second story, like it could kill you. Like probably won't though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that wasn't that high of a jump, and I feel like a lot of horror movies really like to make it seem like falling from a second story window is just a death, like it just will kill you.
Right.
Where it's like, no, she tucked and
I
rolled,
feel
she
like
got
if
the fuck out of there.
anything, yeah, she did. I feel like if anything, like the potential, like the glass could like be more painful than the actual fall itself. But like
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the dice that you roll. You know, like are you gonna like be gonna have like a few like cuts, or are you gonna get like shredded by the dude with the chainsaw? Like you gotta
Yeah, and
weigh your options here.
she's so hyped up on adrenaline, she doesn't feel any of that right now.
Oh yeah, because like the fact that like she like jumps, like stays there for like maybe 2 seconds, and then she's immediately back up and like running again. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And it's
I wonder
from
if she did like
oh, go ahead. Sorry. This Discord delay is bad
I
today.
was gonna say like I wonder if that actress like did like her own like stunt or anything.
I don't remember hearing about this. What I do know about this movie, I could almost guarantee you that she did. This movie did not have a lot of money, and I
That's so
don't think
cool.
that they spent any money on stunt actors.
Makes sense.
This movie had like an
That makes it cooler then.
$80,000 budget.
They had to make do. Country girls make do.
But it's from the jump that she goes to the gas station,
Yes.
which again, stamina. She's booking it.
She's booking it. Like that was like a far hike for her to go. Also, I like at the gas station, is it implied that like they're like selling like their barbecue is
Mm-hmm.
human?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm. And they ate that earlier.
They did. Yep, they sure did.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I ate that thing.
The movie does a lot of really good work with the implication of cannibalism, I think, because you don't really see them eat.
Mm.
You see like
Yeah.
you see him like taking apart Kirk with the chainsaw. You see him breaking him down and everything. You see like the coolers and the hooks and everything, but you don't like at no point do you see a finger go into a pot. You know what I mean? But you just know.
Yeah.
All of
I
the
feel
work is there.
mm-hmm. It's very cool how the lets one you can see the actual characters like problem solving and coming to natural conclusions like a normal person would. Very cool. Like when Jerry goes to like the cannibal house and like sees Kirk's blanket outside, and like you can like the camera zooms in on his face as he's like realizing whose that is. That was really cool. Also as Sally is sitting there at like the gas station looking at like the barbecue pit and like sees like a vaguely foot-shaped object, and like you like pan back in on her face, and it you kind of problem solve, or like you come to like the conclusion of that's what it is. I really
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate when movies aren't dumbed down. It's really, really nice. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I feel like so much smarter and like I'm paying attention and not like the once again the Netflix two screen rule. I feel like it like paid off in like a satisfying way.
Mm-hmm. The movie fully trusts that you can come to the conclusion and figure out what's going on. Were you were you surprised at all about the cooks, like the gas station guy turning out to be part of the family? Did that surprise you?
It did kind of surprise me. I was also wondering at first if like he was gonna come back with the mask on. Like I was wondering if that was what like, but then I was like, no, like he's like way too short. Like he's too stocky
Yeah.
for that to be him. I was wondering I was wondering how he fit into the puzzle at first. Once I like saw like the grill pit or the barbecue pit, I was like, okay, he like has to be like a cog in the machine somehow, but like how? But like that whole scene where like he comes back and like tackles Sally and like
Just started
shoves the
beating the
bloody rag
shit
in her
out of
mouth
her.
and ties her down, starts beating her and becomes like evil. I was like, whoa.
Like, huge tonal shift for the old man.
Exactly. I'm like, man, I thought you were cool, and then all of a sudden you're just like poking her with a broken broomstick, being like, "Yeah, I hope you're not uncomfortable." And I'm like, "Oh
Jesus
my
Christ,
god,
man.
I thought you were kind of cool."
Chill out.
Yeah, right. Settle down.
I think that he's like a really interesting part of the family dynamic because he is very like he's the most put together out of the three of them.
Yeah.
He can be in society still, but there's like that kind of like really
Yeah.
malicious side to him.
Yeah, like when they were back at like the house after he like brings them or brings Sally back. And I thought it was interesting how like they're at like the formal dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Leatherface, hitchhiker guy, and him. He's like, "Oh, I don't like killing." But then meanwhile, while they're trying to make Grandpa hit her in the head with the hammer.
It's like leave Grandpa alone. Grandpa's
Crazy
tired.
scene, by the way. Um uh, Also it was really weird that like like I was totally expecting Grandpa to just be like a corpse, but like he totally moves, which
Yeah,
really grossed me out. And like was sucking on her finger and everything. I was like, ugh.
yeah, he's gross.
Ugh, I
Grandpa's
don't like
nasty.
that.
20-year-old dude. 20-year-old dude plays Grandpa, by
Um,
the way.
what? That's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
a heavy makeup role. Isn't that nuts?
Wow. Um, but I like he's like, oh yeah, I don't really like killing. But meanwhile, while they're like doing all that like crazy stuff with Grandpa, that dude's in the background like, yeah, fucking get her. I'm like,
Hit
whoa.
the bitch.
Are you sure you don't like killing as much? Yeah, fucking hit her. And I'm like, whoa,
Jesus Christ.
slow down. Also, going back to that dinner scene, the close up of her eyes is so cool. Really like
Mm-hmm.
that a lot. We can like see like the white of like her sclera, I guess that's called, and like the veins in her eyes. I feel like that does a really good job of like showing her like panic. It like adds like such a sense of like unease and like misery, like you were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I
Also
agree.
wanted to mention too, very interesting that like Sally is wearing your purple.
Smile. I put my hands on my face and bat my eyelashes. In some scenes it looks blue. In some scenes I think it just depends on the camera at the time. But yeah, I like
Makes sense.
Sally's. Sally has a very distinct silhouette, like distinct appearance, I think. Because like I can immediately in my head imagine Sally just because it's like long blonde hair, like long 70s blonde hair, blue tank top, white bell bottoms.
Yep. It's
Like
very graphic.
Yeah, it's a very like identifiable design, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But that dinner scene is really crazy.
It's cool.
The dinner
the
scene
bell-bottoms
is
are awesome. It was crazy.
That's kind of that's the scene that I usually warn people about whenever they're watching it, because I'm like, hey, like it's all like pretty standard like slasher movie stuff to this point. This scene is really crazy though.
Yeah. I can like kind of see if like this was like someone's like first for some reason, if it was like someone's like first horror movie ever, I would like totally have been like, oh my god. Because there's just like so much, it was so chaotic and like noisy, abrasive.
It's very loud, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And again, just miserable. Just everybody screaming at each other, like pounding on the table, freaking out.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're just the cook. Well, yeah. Like what? They're like totally bickering like children.
Yeah, like they're just
crazy,
all
given what they're
they're all like little brothering each other.
they totally are, which is so funny. Given the subject that they're bickering about.
Yeah. I think Leatherface is
Also,
the baby. I don't know that it's
Yeah.
ever like confirmed who's the youngest, but I think it's Leatherface.
I think Leatherface would be the baby, like the littlest brother. Hitchhiker's the middle brother, and the gas station guy, the cook, is oldest.
Mhm.
That's my headcanon.
Yeah.
Also, didn't realize that the chair they have Sally strapped down to totally is like rests, like literally.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The filming of that scene is so gross. Because let me break it down here. Texas, hot as shit. They have the windows blacked out for continuity, which means that it is an oven in there. One guy is in heavy makeup as Grandpa. Leatherface has the mask on. The food that's on the table is real food, and they can't move any of it because of the continuity, so it's rotting.
That's
in this
like
hot
Resident
ass
Evil,
room.
like 7, Resident Evil 7 village, or the biohazard food on the table right now.
Yeah. They're all in pain because this movie was very physically demanding.
Yeah.
And this is like a 17-hour shoot for this one scene.
Damn.
So there's a point
Man, everyone
where all of the screaming and all of the hooting and hollering is kind of legitimate.
That's kind of awesome. Where they're like, quiet!
Yeah. Like, shut up!
That was real. That was real.
Yeah, it's just them wanting to be done.
They kind of like, that makes sense. And I feel like there's like a lot of moments where like you're in like Sally's face, you could just like see like sweat cascading down her face. That kind of, I felt like that was more like her, like in the context of the movie being like really stressed or like the panic. But it totally, I feel like that makes, or that also, I don't know, makes everything feel more dirty and grimy in like a cool way.
And then just like the absolute buffoonery of trying to get Grandpa to hold the hammer.
That was
just even more hooting and hollering and nonsense.
fucking the chud back there. Yeah, I hit her. Shut up. Also, I love that like she fights hard enough to just like get away and then just books it. Like two like she got like struck on the head actually twice. And
Mm-hmm.
like it's cool how like you can see her like actively bleeding more and more as she's like running away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, that whole that whole scene where like she becomes like the crazy hitchhiker and also like like what? She was on like a vehicle number 2. It took her like 2 tries to get like successfully away, which like you're like sitting there like on the edge of your seat like, "Come on, girl. You can
No,
do it."
literally. Like when she's like hopping to get her leg over into the bed of the truck.
Yes, I was like, "Ah!
Like, get in, go,
Get hurry,
please.
hurry."
Props to that guy for stopping. I don't know that I would have.
Right? Like I always like wonder that with like true crime stories where like they see like someone like bloodied on the side of the road. I'm like, I don't know that like benevolent person that would stop for them because I feel like I'd be like,
I'd call the police.
Yeah, I'd call the police, but I don't know. I'm like, I don't have the qualifications for this. I gotta go.
Like, but I'm like, I'm not stopping, especially because you see the motherfucker with the chainsaw.
Yeah, I'd be like,
No way.
I don't. This is crazy.
That's insane.
Right?
Thoughts
Very
and
cool for
prayers,
the
girl.
2 people that did that. Right. I'm thinking about you, but I gotta go.
I hope we never find out what happened to the truck driver. I hope he's all right.
Also thought it was very cool like the semi truck driver to like sit there and like mollywop Leatherface in the head with a wrench. He's like, boom.
He whipped that shit out of his hand like, yeah.
He did. Really funny, like for Leatherface's like chainsaw to still be on and cut him in the leg, and he's like, ow. He goes, ugh.
Do you want to know how they did that scene?
How did they do that?
So, really crazy part about this movie is that Leatherface's chainsaw is live the entire time. The chain's on it for the entire movie.
That's crazy.
Yep. And there were multiple times where that chainsaw almost hurt somebody. And
I bet.
like, you know the scene where they're running and they have to make that tight turn on the corner to get into the gas station? And you see Leatherface do that little skid, that little hop.
Yeah.
He does that skid because Leatherface, in addition to just Gunnar Hansen is just in addition to already being a tall dude, also wore heels to be Leatherface.
Oh my god. He's skirting around in his stilettos.
Yeah. And like he hits that little turn like that because the first time he did it, he slipped and dropped the chainsaw.
Oh.
And like almost really hurt himself.
Oh my god.
And this one with the chainsaw at the end with it cutting into his leg, it's still live. So what they did was they put like a sheet of metal on his leg under the pants and then put like a piece of meat on top of it.
Oh
and
my
the
god.
idea was that the metal sheet would stop the chainsaw. And it did, but because it's rotating metal, it heat up.
Oh my god.
It burned him a little bit, and he thought that the chainsaw cut through the sheet of metal, so him yelping like that was because he thought he got hit with the blade.
Oh. That's so cool, but like, oh my god, ow.
The 70s were like a lawless time for movie making.
That's kind of awesome, but like, why did they think that'd be a good idea?
Thank God we have laws now.
We can't just be doing whatever we want.
Mm-mm. Nope, actors have rights now.
But I love that scene as they're like, Sally finally makes her getaway, and she just starts like breaking down and maniacally laughing because like, you know what, yeah, she deserves it, like the catharsis after running for so long.
It's so real.
That scene of her, like, I guess now if it was a blue top, it's now purple from all of her blood.
Yeah.
Her like in the back seat of that like striking blue car, and just like her like her first that's screaming like go it's so real.
Yeah.
And then her like just laughing like as like she like goes into the distance was so cool.
That poor girl.
And then we see Leatherface Fortnite emoting and for the the remaining part of the movie, and then it's over.
And then it's over. I love this movie so much.
It like felt like in a weird way very short, but I don't know if it's just because I've been conditioned to like with like 2-hour long movies, because I feel like that's kind of the new standard. But like
Mhm.
it said everything it needed to say, but it just felt like I was surprised. I'm like, wow, it's over. There it
Mhm.
goes.
It was very concise. It was very
Yes.
I don't think it could have done anything more with extra runtime.
Yeah. It ended at the perfect time, but I was just more like I was like, dang. Which I guess is why there's sequels, because people wanted to see more of the story. Because like,
Texas
yeah, that was a lot. That was crazy.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is so crazy in like a completely different breed. That movie is so
Crazy
fucking
positive
dumb.
or crazy negative?
It's pretty
Oh, God.
dumb. It's good though. I don't think it how do I explain this? So it went through a little bit of production hell. It had like a really weird edit that went out that apparently not everybody was super pleased with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like really, it's very fever dreamish, I think, Texas Chainsaw 2.
Huh.
I think it's a fun watch, but I don't know if it's a good movie.
Makes sense.
Whereas I feel like this one is a very good movie, but it can be kind of miserable
yeah.
to watch.
But I feel like, I don't know, the misery like set with the tone, like it makes sense. Like it wasn't like a slog or like anything, but it was kind of like heavy, intense.
Mm-hmm.
A worthwhile watch. I had fun watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that was like the first thing my eyes laid I laid my eyes on today.
I think that it has earned its place in the Horror Hall of Fame, and it is like so many things replicate it for a reason. It's just everything. I feel like everything that it set out to do, it did it very effectively.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, everyone, that's all we have for this episode. But tune in next time. Don't panic. We'll be back with the Neon Demon. I'm very excited. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.